Welcome back, everybody. We're getting back into another edition of the Geno Samuel, Chris Chan, A Comprehensive History series. We're going to start off with part 43. So everyone, please like the stream. If you want to help out with the ghoul, you know how to do it. It's pinned in the chat. But obviously, gift memberships, jewels, super chats, all that stuff, all very much appreciated. However you choose to show your support. Thank you, thank you.
People donating to this stream must be insane. I personally only donate to GTV.
Yeah, if you want to ask him a question. If you want to ask him a question, you donate to GTV. GTV. Yeah, so please like the stream. Also, tonight we're going to continue our live review of the Rocky series. We're going to do Rocky Part 2. And there's a link down in the description to check that out. We're doing that later tonight. Even if you can't catch it live, you can sign up and watch it after the fact. And there's still a 15% off your first month code right there that you can use. And that's going to get you so much more. We've got 2 private shows coming up next week at the $5 level. But this is for the $10 level. But obviously, you get 10, you get all the lower tier perks. That used to be a meme here at one point. All lower tier perks. So please help support the show. Patreon is very important. Go there, get your 15% off. Try us out for a month. You can cancel at any time. There's more than half a decade of content on there. There's so many years of content on there. You should check it out. Almost a decade of content. The original DP Patreon content from, the first 4 years of the show, that stuff is somewhere else because of some legal agreements that were made back in the day. But all of the stuff 2018 onward, that's all there. So it's worth checking out. Some of the really early stuff on there still has the original crew on it, but you have to check that out.
The difference between me and you is...
Thank you!
That I'm gay.
Holy shit. Travie. It's the G-Man getting butt banged alert.
The difference between me and you is that I'm gay.
For it. Oh my god. I wanted to get G-Man on here to be subjected.
The difference between me and you is...
Yeah, so thank you. You know what? People like that are the reason I keep doing it. People that honestly watch. Maybe they don't watch as much as they used to. Maybe they left and came back. Who knows? I don't know Travi's story, but the people that are still here from time to time, and the diehards that are still there, you're the reason I keep doing it. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you. Let's jump right into it. This is part 43, and shout outs to Geno Samuel. I can't give enough credit. All the hard work and research and editing and all that, narrating, Geno Samuel, he deserves the credit here. We're just reacting to it. So, thank you guys. Please like the stream.
Attraction.
He scored it, too. He wrote a lot of the score for these, too, which is crazy.
On November 29th, 2014, members of the Quickie Forums noticed that the most recent episode of the Sonic Boom TV show featured a scene in which Sonic the Hedgehog eats a burger that, to his disappointment, has pickles on it. Forum members debated whether or not this was a subtle reference to Christian and Sonichu's known hatred of pickles.
I said no pickles.
Chris himself later made a Facebook post regarding this moment, asking if it were truly a reference to him.
I just have to say this, and I know there are people that disagree, but I also know there are people that very much agree. A burger without pickles is just it's missing one of the core things that makes a burger good. I'm just going to say, just have to say it.
With commenters saying that it was seemingly
my favorite burger topping is pickles.
An intentional slight against his person. On November 30th, after being banned from his previous Keep Sonic original Facebook group, Chris founded another group for his cause called Fix Sonic's Arms Immediately, Sega! With its inception.
And by the way, if you're hungover, drink a couple big gulps of pickle brine. It'll turn you around in a jiffy. Just saying. But I guess if you think pickles are gross, that might make you vomit. Which will also help your hangover.
He reposted many of the
win-win.
posts he had made in his previous group, and also added many new ones, which called for people to send to Sega constant complaints until they conceded and redesigned Sonic. He appointed Kenneth Engelhardt, the administrator of the previous group who had kicked Christian out, and also the troll Kim Wilson, as administrators of the new Facebook group. Chris let his thoughts be known through several lengthy posts. Seriously, every day I still see either of those blue-armed fucked games on the store shelves. Here the
This is the part of the story, the last episode covered a lot of it. This is when Chris Chan goes crazy over the fact that they made Sonic's arms blue. And Chris Chan's obsession with the Sonic character and little details like the color of his arms. Some artist that got assigned to, portray the Sonic character through their art decided these tan arms are stupid. We're gonna first of all, a blue hedgehog is stupid. There's I don't know why did they decide to make Sonic blue? Is it because Mario was red mostly, and they were just like, oh, it'll be a contrast to Mario? I don't know, but it is weird to have a blue hedgehog. Anyway, though, his arms were tan originally, and then in this adaptation of Sonic, they made his arms blue, and Chris Chan freaked the fuck out and committed crimes based on it, which is crazy.
Tune is still on the CN, or no recall is taking place. The more pissed I feel.
They without a doubt created Sonic to be Sega's Mario. Sega was in search of a Mario, because that's the thing, Nintendo doesn't make the best hardware. They have the iconic intellectual properties that people are willing to pay $60, $70 a game for. And that's Mario, Metroid, Donkey Kong, I guess Pokemon, even though they didn't create Pokemon, but they own part of it now, I guess. And there's the Metroid, and what else is there? There's a lot of them. I wish they'd bring back Punch-Out. They haven't made a Punch-Out game since Wii, but I thought the Punch-Out on Wii was actually pretty good.
No, I have messaged those SOBs at Sega a number of times with no response since after seeing the cartoon trailer months ago during the E3 time. It makes me so angry and frustrated being continuously ignored and swept under the rug to the point where the action and growing from small threats to
Wasn't Earthbound a Nintendo IP?
make the managers there listen up. Yeah, fuck them.
Smash
and I never
Bros,
thought
which
I would ever have
features a lot of
anything against my
Nintendo
favorite
stuff.
color before that trailer. But now I'm looking to slit their throats with my long fingernails to force the total recall of everything Sonic Boom to fix the mistake to happen sooner!
Sooner!
And I have no concern of how much money Sega loses. The recall of
Zelda.
everything Sonic
Oh my
Boom
God, how
and
can I
changing
forget
the arm
Zelda?
color back must happen immediately and right now! Some members of his group objected to his threats of violence, but Christian defended his words, stating that his fingernails were literally long, and that many women also had long
Sound the
nails.
watch alarm! Sound the watch alarm! We're almost to 80%. Hell yeah! Hell yeah, motherfucker!
I always love when Gino yells the capitalized words.
Yes, I do love that too. He does it really well, also. And where is he from originally? Czech Republic or something? Where is he from originally? I looked it up. He's from some country in Europe that's not a native English-speaking country. I think he's from Eastern Europe. Let me see. I'll have to... Shit's... The quickie is loading so slowly. Yeah. I can't remember. He's from, like... I don't know if he's Hungarian or Czech. Something like that. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out.
On December 2nd, while Chris and William Elliott Waterman were
But he lives
discussing
in
how he would
China
enact
now,
his
I
vengeance
think.
against Sega, William asked if Chris would prefer to be called by female pronouns, to which she replied that she would. William suggested that she could change her name to Christine, which she agreed to accept as her eventual new name. Upon searching the name Christine Chandler, a member of the Quickie forums uncovered a 2-week-old post on the free message board, void.com, of Christine using that name to advertise herself as a willing sperm donor for lesbian couples, willing to help either with artificial or preferably natural insemination. Also on December 2nd, Chris wrote on Facebook that she and her mother Barbara would be moving back to their old house within the next few weeks, and so urged people who wanted to purchase her Sonichu medallions or drawing commissions to act quickly.
Oh, okay. He was born in Lithuania. He grew up in Ireland, but this is not an Irish accent. This sounds more like an Eastern European accent. Yeah, so he grew, like, born in Lithuania, moved to Ireland. Yeah, and now he lived in Japan, and now he lives in China. All over the place.
As the move would disrupt their production. On December 4th, Chris notified her fictitious gal pal, Renee, that she would be getting her taint piercing re-pierced, since the first piercing ended up, quote-unquote, migrating. The second attempt would be a gold barbell with jewelry on it.
Oh!
It was possibly around this time that Catherine and Chris began discussing their apparent breakup. Katie's side of the conversation was never revealed, but Chris insisted over text messages that they could still remain gal pals, and that she could satisfy her in bed with her near 7-inch long penis. And I do think I am entitled in a true, valid relationship with a woman very much like you, because I need the love. And not only that, but I am of royalty in the Western bloodline.
Yeah.
Right
So,
now, I'm
because Barb told Chris that she was descended from royalty, which is bullshit, obviously, Chris believed that they had to extend the royal bloodline that they were born into, which is madness. That's a common thing amongst Americans. First of all, many
Ben,
Americans...
Be careful. I see Cousin Trigger Happy Matt in the chat.
Oh no, he's
He
gonna
will be
shoot
a lucky
me!
Luke on you if you invite him on your stream.
I know. You're right. I'm afraid of that guy. He'll ride in on a motorcycle, guns a-blazing. But yeah, a lot of Americans are obsessed. Me include, like I'll admit to some of this. Americans are obsessed with our ancestry and like where our ancestors came from. And it is fascinating, you know. But a common one. So Chris Chan's mom and dad both did different versions of this where they believed something that is probably not true. A lot of white Americans either believe that they descended from European royalty or they descended from Native Americans, namely Cherokee. It's so common. And Chris Chan's dad was like, I'm a Cherokee, clearly a white guy. And then Chris Chan's mom was like, I remember her saying when she met the troll that was English, talking about how she was English royalty. It's crazy. Crazy.
feeling tired, headachy, more depressed and sick of the blatant sarcasm and the ignorance you are showing along with your bitchy ass. And my mother is not fond of you right now either. She calls you common in your not wanting to be in a relationship with me. Stew in all of that for a long while.
Wow.
She felt great depression over her announcement that they were not in a relationship anymore, feeling as if her heart was melting, like the Lego pieces that perished in her house fire. Chris later shared the news with Renee, who she continued to message, despite her having stopped replying since the end of October. On December 6th, Chris shared a post which wrote that the animated series, Sonic Boom, had been quite successful and would so be renewed for a second season, which angered her. Chris left a comment clarifying that her only criticism of the changes to the Sonic universe was Sonic's blue arms, suggesting that she watched the show. Chris then wrote a long post asking for her followers to engage in an organized protest against Sega, which included an aggressive message-sending campaign. She asked them to include a paragraph that stated the adverse reaction Chris had upon the sight of Sonic the Hedgehog's blue arms, referring to her—
Shanny's no Mohican, all right? She's the colonizer that spread warts to the Mohicans. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting.
Herself in the text with male pronouns. She then shared the response she got from Sega customer service after sending such a message. They wrote that they could not
I did
accept
extensive
unsolicited
research on my ancestry. Turns out I am white. Checked my skin color after I got the result. It was true. Science don't lie.
Yeah, Europeans don't really care about ancestry, and, you know, it is what it is. There wasn't a very high population in North America for a long time. You know, like pre-Columbus. And then people started coming here from all over the world. And many people, like, I was interested, but I'm not going to be like, I'm a descendant of royalty. No. And I'm definitely not Native American. It's ridiculous.
Suggestions from fans and encouraged her to pursue her creative efforts. The next day, she notified her followers that she would not be accepting any more offers for medallions or commissions until the new year, since the Chandlers would be in the middle of moving from their rental home back to their old house. On December 11th, Chris sent Renee a collection of photos of her strap-on without a dildo attached, and demonstrated how she wore it in order to conceal her penis. Renee had still yet to respond. A day later, Christine messaged her again, telling—
I think I was most interested in my ancestry because it wasn't the people that moved here from Europe that I descended from weren't that like they were alive not too long ago, like grandparents and great grandparents. So, you know, like my parents knew my ancestors that moved from Europe, so I was interested in knowing them as people and where they came from. But if it's like hundreds of years ago, it's like, well, I don't know anything about that.
her that the patch of skin around the jewelry of her taint piercing was beginning to shrink again, so Chris ultimately decided to remove her piercing. 2 days later, she asked Renee if she would help Chris put together a modeling portfolio and make her feel more sex positive. Kristen let Renee know that she believed that trolls were hacking into their text messages and posting their communications on the Quickie forums.
It's not a claim. I just like to learn about where my ancestors came from, you know. And it's funny because most of my ancestors came from Ireland and Poland, two countries I've never visited, and I've been to Europe on 3 different occasions. So that probably speaks like I'm not that interested in like going there, but it's interesting to know where they came from.
When in reality, it was the troll playing the part of Renee who was sharing their interactions, who went by the Quickie forums username Theoden. On December 15th, Chris wrote a cryptic Facebook post telling her followers not to ask her any questions or leave any comments since she felt crappy. The next day, she realized that she could also write her pleas to change Sonic's arm color on Nintendo's online social space, the Miiverse, and posted photos of her message as written on her Nintendo 3DS. She also shared on her Facebook profile that she received a postcard from a ween with a message supporting Sonic the Hedgehog's blue arms. Chris was not amused by the troll attempt. On December 18th, Quickie forums member Skyraider91, who had previously posted numerous photos of Chris's house after the fire
I am
and
actually
had
your
uncovered
cousin
old
Ben.
documents.
We share a great-great-grandmother that made her living making potato vodka in Ireland.
Potato vodka. Hell yeah. It is weird that Ireland's known for potatoes, but they didn't make vodka there. Like whiskey's definitely like a more Irish spirit, you know? But with all those, obviously, A lot of people misunderstand the potato famine. It had, like, that's pretty much all they had to eat. It was a famine because a lot of other food sources were cut off. You know what I'm saying?
Documentation from the Chandler's dumpster.
A lot of, like, Irish foods, like boxty cakes and stuff like that, are just made out of potatoes. It's like you mash potatoes and then you shred potatoes and cover the mashed potatoes with the shredded potatoes, and then you fry them in a pan.
Like the video that Christian filmed in the aftermath
some
of the family gift
scallions.
exchange of Christmas
Delicious.
Day, 2004. The video was part of the director's cut of Chris's Yep, I'm on TV
It's
DVD,
frozen.
which was
Oh, is it? Really? God damn it, man. Some of these audio or video files are fucked. Let me see.
which was given to Catherine as a present.
I wish you was here.
7:30. All right, hold on. I'm going to get it back.
Of the family gift exchange
There we go.
of Christmas Day, 2004. The video was part
No,
of the
it's not
director's cut
Gino,
of Chris's
it's
Yep,
YouTube.
I'm on TV DVD.
YouTube doesn't want us to download videos unless we pay them to do it. So they keep changing the way the videos are fed to your computer or device. And now when I download a video, it comes in like a stupid format that's not.
Americans would consider it a potato famine if their local MCD ran out of fries.
Oh, Mickey D. Okay, I was like, MCD. Yes. That's true. And KFC had no mashed taters? Damn. The world would be fucked. Going to hell in a handbasket. Look at the three different incarnations of Quick. 1994 Quick. So Chris would have been 12? Yeah, 12 in 94. I love how thin Chris draws himself.
which
It's
was
crazy.
given to Catherine as a present.
I wish you was here so that
I
I
wish
could
you was
talk to
here.
her and tell me you might want us to get a boyfriend.
So we could have
for you,
sets.
22-year-old girl.
It was later revealed that Skyraider was in fact the same troll who had played the part of Katie's cousin Al, who had accompanied the two on their date. The following day, Chris posted on Facebook that she had downloaded the game Meme Run for the Nintendo Wii U, which capitalized on popular internet-based image macros and trending memes, believing that her trolls obsessed over them. She found the game to be sensory overloading and determined that all the trolls were seriously stressed, weird, offensive, mentally demented, and screwed up. On December 19th, Christine uploaded 43 images on her "Fix Sonic's arms immediately, Sega!" Facebook page, depicting the new Sonic the Hedgehog in various TV show stills and marketing photos, with his arms altered to be the original color. She pleaded for her followers to mass send the pictures to Sega and Cartoon Network to convince them to change the character's design. The next day, Chris wrote on Facebook that the family's Christmas would likely be only fair, as they were not ready to finish moving back to their old house before the holidays, so she suggested that people consult her wish list for possible presents or gift cards to send her, strongly suggesting that she desired the big Grand Emporium Lego set, and advised against people sending her gag gifts, such as lumps of coal or copies of the Sonic Boom game. On December 21st, Chris once again posted a link to her mother's car, which was still up for sale for $10,000.
Why didn't he put it on like the various car apps? Like at the time, autotrader.com was like a big website for selling cars on. Like I've even sold a car on AutoTrader. Or sell it on, back then Craigslist was still around. Craigslist, is Craigslist still around? Yeah. They just got rid of like the naughty part of Craigslist,
and also
which ruined my
listed
Craigslist
Barbara's
segment
phone number for
back in the
possible
day, by the
inquiries.
way.
In the comment section, Kim Wilson wrote that Barbara's car's fair market value was around $3,000 and doubted if anyone would choose to pay as much as she desired. Christine replied, stating that it was her mother's idea to price it at $10,000.
Somebody
During
do
this time,
$3.33
Chris was still text messaging
dono.
Catherine,
That's
trying to
one of
come
the
to an
best new
understanding
ones.
over their breakup. On Christmas Eve, Chris sent her a few finalizing texts. I'll tell you another thing. While I can appreciate it from my mother and pets, but when I get a show of positive emotions or vibes from anyone else, nada, and or a paint thud in my heart. And that is blamed on my autism, and when I am in the depressed and lonely boat like I am again now. But, whatever. Enjoy your Christmas with your parents and the stepmom and other family alive and close, and whoever you end up having for a boyfriend and sweetheart. And because everyone around here locally either hates me and my mother, or overlooks or ignores us, we both are feeling depressed. At home, we have each other, but that's about it right there.
Let's
An
get
emotional
more
crappy
donos.
Christmas.
Here it is.
Tip, guys.
Let's get more donos. Yeah. It's a tip that asks you to tip more.
Tip, guys.
Let's get more donos. Yeah.
Tip, guys.
Let's get more donos. Yeah.
Tip, guys.
Let's get more donos. Yeah. It's perfect because he points right at it. Whoa! A real man.
Peaceful day, but with everyone outside of our house not appreciating us much at all. On Christmas Day, Chris messaged Renee, letting her know that she had bought figurines for the game Skylanders, and that she also had family time and some bonus cash to keep her spirits up. However, her pets were causing some trouble. She wished that she could wake up in the morning either with a sweetheart by her side, or having magically transformed her body.
I'm getting confused because right after the point, and if you notice it in this video, the point where Chris says publicly that they want to be referred to as a woman, Gino switches to calling Chris Chan she. Which I'm not against, but I don't know if Chris Chan knows who they are. But I like...
From male to female.
Yeah. 2,000 square mile. This is described as a white male, 5'9", with long brown hair. So he's wearing 2 simple glasses and fake breasts.
Oh my God!
His name is supposed to be Christopher Chapman.
The cops know Chris.
On December 26th, Chris and her mother drove to Charlottesville's Fashion Square. While Barbara stayed by herself to have lunch, Chris entered the game retailer, GameStop.
This is crazy that Chris's mom went to the mall with them the day that the GameStop shit went down,
From which she had been banned for vandalizing Sonic Boom displays. At the time, user of the site Tumblr, Monozetai, who knew of Chris Chan, was at the store at the same time and managed to record a short video and later wrote an account of what he experienced. I looked up and saw Chris surrounded by 3 to 4 employees in a corner. I recognized Chris's voice before their appearance. A woman was telling Chris that they had been banned from the store and needed to leave, to which Chris responded with something like, "Oh, come on! Can't we let bygones be bygones?" The employees ignored him and continued to tell him to leave and threatened to call security. Eventually, they dispersed to do so, which is about when I began filming. The short clip shows Christine on her way out of the store, and right before exiting, she pepper sprayed the shirt of the store's assistant manager, who was standing to the side of the door.
Don't call anybody.
And that was the buy two.
Kristen went back to her car and drove back home. Police arrived at the scene about half an hour after the incident and managed
Wow.
to find her mother,
That's battery.
Barbara, still eating lunch at the mall.
Oh my God.
Police officers took her home, promptly arrested Chris, and then brought her to be detained.
So did Chris abandon Barb at the mall?
And that was the buy two.
Kristen went back to her car and drove back home.
They left Barb just sitting there eating Panda Express or whatever. Oh my God.
Police arrived at the scene about half an hour after the incident and managed to find her mother, Barbara, still eating lunch at the mall. Police officers took her home, promptly arrested Chris and then brought her to be detained at Albemarle Regional Jail. 2 days later, an individual recorded his call to the jail asking about the details of Chris's detainment.
That was premeditated. They were like, "Mom, why don't you sit here and eat your Panda Express? I'll be right back." And she was like, "Okay." That's what happened.
I want to verify some information about an inmate that you have. Oh my God, Chandler. Yeah, the name is Christian Weston-Chaler. I'm not the first person who called you about this particular issue. No, you're the third person in a row. That's why I knew it was that, probably. Okay, I'm surprised. I want to confirm or deny if he is in jail right now because some incident that happened.
Interesting Spanish accent.
Yeah, he's here. He is in jail. He's here and he'll have video court Monday morning. Okay, could you add more information? He's going to be charged. He's going to. Oh yeah, he got a charge for spraying gas. I think he sprayed pepper spray about it. Yeah, that's the current information that we have. There's some video on YouTube where he sprayed the GameStop employee with some paper spray or something like that. I hope the employee is okay. Oh yeah, he's fine. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, and appreciate all your cooperation.
On December 29th, Christine was formally charged with a Class 6 felony, unlawful release of dangerous
Wow,
gas.
it's a felony.
She posted
Jesus.
a $2,500 bail and was allowed to return home, with her next hearing
$2,500
scheduled for
bail.
February 5th, 2015. Upon returning home,
With
Chris
prior
wrote an
record,
exceptionally
too.
long Facebook post detailing her account of what transpired. Attention everyone! To preface what has happened recently, I simply remind everyone that Sonic the Hedgehog's arms are not freaking blue. If #Sega had never changed them, or reversed the change between February and November of this year in the new Sonic Boom video games and cartoon series on Cartoon Network, as well as the toys and whatever else, I would never have had to protest and rebel the way I have, including the creation of my group. Fix Sonic's arms immediately, Sega! Within my groups, I've led by example to push forward to the path of waking Sega up and forcing them
This
to
is
change Sonic's
utter
arm color back
insanity.
immediately. And to confess,
This is
I
pure
have done my part for
craziness.
real. I had personally gone into 3 of the 4 local GameStops, excluding the Fashion Square one, 3 times to personally protest in my silent way. First attack. I printed, as seen on the Facebook group, the fronts of the Sonic Boom game inserts, affixed double-sided tape onto the backs,
Imagine
and affixed
getting
them
a
onto the fronts
felony
of their respective display game
because of
boxes on the
this.
shelves. Second attack. About a week later, I checked the success of my first attack, damaged a few original inserts pretty well to full removal, and of what were still there, I made attempts to transfer the inserts from the original cases into behind the inserts of different games. I've had to briefly explain my reasons and the protest, and told them that they should not be selling the Blue Arm Bandit games in the first place, and that they should send all of their remaining stock of Sonic Boom games and stuff back to Sega to make them change Sonic's arm color back immediately.
Yeah, the funny thing is I can sense the frustration over the fact that nobody else gave a shit about this. Like, very few people cared that they changed Sonic's arms to blue. And the ones that did were like, oh, well, I guess Sonic's arms are blue now, whatever.
They did nothing. And one last week later, the third and final attack, and the one and only time that the Fashion Square location had been involved as well. I made up and printed faux price tag decals with a short note to discourage purchase of the Blue Arm Bandit games and promote the protesting boycott. I also had hidden all of the blue-armed Sonic toys at Toys R Us here, concealed hidden amongst the metal cupboards, so they all would not be sold, and best boycotted for the protest. They remained hidden for the longest time of over a month, found and reshelved near the 20th of December to my personal dismay and
okay. I'm not trying to insult people with autism. I'm sure there's more than a few of you out there that have been diagnosed. And I do notice that a lot of people who are on the spectrum have a fascination with Sonic the Hedgehog. Why? And anime, just anime in general, too. I don't understand it. I understand he's special. I understand Chris Chan is special, and that obviously not a good representation. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, there are things that, like, colloquially we were like, oh, that's the thing autistic people are into, and Sonic the Hedgehog is definitely one of them, right? I don't know.
And at Best Buy, all copies of their Sonic Boom games are still successfully concealed and hidden from view and purchase. Last Friday, the 26th, my mother and I were at the mall, getting pizza and spaghetti for lunch. She had informed me of a good mini refrigerator deal at Sears, so after eating, I made my way to check it out. On the way to Sears, I peeked into the GameStop and I spotted a new Skylander figure, Blast Your Mind. I was set to buy it, and I was going to consider checking out their Wii U pre-owned software selection in their 3-for-2 deal. Innocent. I was not looking for trouble, but then this male loomed out in front of me, frightened the crap out of me, and he said in a booming voice that only scared me worse, "You are banned from here! You need to leave now!" But still determined to continue my shopping, I veered into the Wii U direction when his female accomplice startled me and boomed in as well. Still feeling frightened and mentally overloaded, I made a grab for my pepper spray to use in defense. I offered a few peaceful solutions, but she ended up sending him to go get security. So I shouted, "Fine, I'm leaving," and I dropped the figure. And on my way out, I told the male not to get anyone, and we both stopped near simultaneous.
Chris Chan is a good example of someone with autism who might have other mental illnesses, but also had very enabling and too old parents, like parents that were like too old and too short-sighted to raise an autistic child and to like get them the proper care and education that someone with those kind of needs can have. And I think they were always like, oh, you're high functioning. I think that was their cope. I don't think Chris Chan was high functioning. I think that was their... They diagnosed him as high functioning to make themselves feel better about it. That's my take on it.
I still felt my own worst from where, with the fear, startle, paranoia, and I did not want him following me and causing more trouble upon me. And then in my defense, and to make my escape, I spritzed a minuscule amount of the pepper spray downward, not in his face, and then I left. I did not learn until much later that the spritz had done a lot worse than I had imagined it would, as well as learning that they were the so-called manager and ass manager of that particular store. I had no idea of the contents of the pepper spray, or that it was illegal for use in certain situations in the state of Virginia at all. And I had tried this stuff on myself days before in the upstairs.
So genetically, an older parent, there's research that suggests, it's not proven, but there's research to suggest that having an older parent genetically can cause autism. But then also, I feel like, especially Christian's dad, being so old and out of touch, didn't know how to properly care for an autistic child. And his mom too, probably, but he's old, like, he's the same. Me and Chris Chan are about the same age. And his dad is about the same age as, like, my grandmother on my dad's side. So there's, like, 2-generation gap. And then Barb, she was a little old to be having a kid, you know, like in her 40s at the end of her reproductive cycle. But I think a big issue was once they had an autistic kid, they didn't know how to properly care for them and educate them. Like, education can be different too, especially when you have someone that, and I feel like they gave him everything he wanted too. I think both of them, they had both been married before, they had both had kids before, and Chris was their reset. They're like, all right, you know, we don't even get along with our previous kids. So this is our chance to like get it right. But their answer was give him everything he wants. And that's why Chris had a fucking little hoarding room full of like $10,000 worth of toys. You know what I mean? Like, Chris wasn't working. All of that shit that Chris Chan had, all of the newest video games and Legos, which are not cheap, those were all bought by them with their fucking Bob's pension money was buying that shit.
Bathroom. A 2-second spray onto my left wrist. Some of it got onto the bathtub wall.
No. Yeah. I will say, like, back in like Bob's day, if you had an autistic kid, they were viewed basically the same as like you had a kid with Down syndrome, like that level of like they're like out of it. So Bob was like, no, he's high functioning actually, and he's great. We're gonna do this the creation station, whatever the thing that never got used. Chris was like the final years of Bob's life was the nightmare of Chris Chan. Having a kid too old, when they're like, oh, Chris needs special education, there's problems. Like, we can't keep Chris in the normal school, the Dream Studio. Okay. Yeah, the Dream Studio. They told him, they were like, dude, your kid can't function normally in these classes. We need to send him to a special school where he can be educated with experts who know how to educate people with autism. And Bob's answer to that was, well, we're going to rent an apartment in another town in a new school district so Chris can go to a normal school, is what he did. I don't think that's responsible. I think when the experts on education tell you this person has issues socializing and learning, they need to go to a special school. And we've seen the like the leaked papers and stuff. Like Chris would be doing a science report and start writing in Spanish, but it wasn't Spanish class. Like that kind of shit.
As well, like sampling a perfume or deodorant. It took me out damn well. I had to open the windows, turn on the bathroom fan, and aim the box fan into the bathroom to air the place out. And I wiped the wall off as well. And of course, I washed my hands. It took 15 to 30 minutes to make it bearable in there again. In the end, yes, I went along peacefully when the police arrived to collect me. And I had to spend a miserable weekend in jail. And I just got out
Bob
on
was
a bond
born in the
and bail,
1920s.
yada yada yada. In the end, I was the victim. I did not cause the original provoking. The assistant manager made the first attack onto me and provoked my defensive response.
Bob came from a time where if someone had like, we call it neurodivergence, they called it a mental illness back then. They just put you in a fucking mental hospital and you just live there the rest of your days. So
Response. I was minding my own business, not looking for trouble, and then he startled me, similar to a potential rapist in a dark alley in a big city. Any of you would have done the same as I have in defense and escape. And we can sue Sega for
no
changing
sense
Sonic's
of
arm color
accountability
and ultimately
here.
this male getting pepper sprayed. Think about it seriously. And my protest actions are not acts of vandalism, regardless of your individual perceptions. It was not vandalism, but good protest when in around 2004 at Fashion Square. I tried their new soda machines with a credit debit card slot, and then I learned of the $5 surcharge that brought my bank account into the freaking red. I subtly posted sticky note signs onto each machine shortly after. This machine charges you $5 per card use. A few days later, the original machines returned. Nobody gave me any freaking grief or complaints at all about that. And if you really want to see the whole mess happen, go find the security tape of the time of point A, my finding Blastermind to point B, of my departure from the store. Now, if you will excuse me, I have a lot of much required packing to take care of. Good day. Kenneth Engelhardt left a comment, pleading for Chris to understand that she entered an establishment from which she had been banned, with an item that was considered to be a weapon in the state of Virginia, and that she had no right to be there. Members of her Sonic Facebook group
My
were
paternal
similarly not
grandmother
supportive
was
of her.
born the same year as Bob Chandler. Yeah. So, and Chris Chan is 1 year younger than me.
Stance. Chris's assault and arrest were understandably a mass discussed topic on the Quickie forums during the closing days of the year. In addition, Chris received some attention in more mainstream media. The video of the pepper spraying received significant views on YouTube and was featured in several online publications. The GameStop incident was written up in an article posted on Wii U Daily, a website focusing on news related to the Nintendo Wii U console and other game-related happenings. Also, entertainment website Design and Trend detailed the event in an article of their own, mistakenly calling Chris a popular internet meme creator. On January 2nd, 2015, Chris wrote on Facebook that she was experiencing muscle pain as she kept herself busy moving the family's belongings back into their old home. The next day, people connected with the forums reported that she was spotted arguing with security personnel at the retail store Walmart, from which she had been banned. The troll playing the part of Renee finally texted Chris back, asking about what happened. Chris confirmed that she went to Walmart and was accused of trespassing by the managers, which she denied. She threatened to use her pepper spray on them to keep them away from her. Chris confessed that she had had the pepper spray for years, but only recently decided to take it out in public in order to use it in situations of self-defense.
That was
Renee
not
asked her
self-defense.
how did she feel
That was
threatened by the
battery.
Walmart staff, with Chris replying that their threats were akin to bullying. She suggested that Chris seek counseling and should call the Mental Health Association of Albemarle, Charlottesville. In response, Chris wrote, "You are being unfriendly to me and a meanie. I hope your house burns down with you and your jerk boyfriend inside. Good day." In the meantime, Christine posted on Facebook that people should notify the American and Japanese divisions of Sega about her recent misfortunes because they decided to change Sonic's arm color. If they had not made the alteration, Chris wrote that she would have never protested in the way that she had. She added that the addition of green irises for Sonic was a positive change in her opinion. She then wrote that the Chandlers were busy moving back into their old home, and so she was unable to access the internet via Wi-Fi for long periods of time.
Barbara's
Chris added
older
that she was
son,
feeling
Cole Smithy, actually had a YouTube channel that blew up where he did movie reviews, which is interesting. I watched a few of
stressed,
them.
and if any individual were to make her day worse via verbal attacks or threats, she would defend herself and even retaliate if necessary, going so far as to pepper spray herself. She wished for others to sincerely like her, but she felt she was unable to change anyone's mind. On January 8th, Chris wrote again that she hated Sega for allowing the blue-armed version of Sonic to continue to exist, which forced her to defend herself from attack, leading to a weekend in jail. The next day, she uploaded an image macro featuring a character from the cartoon series Lila's Pet Shop, which stated that wearing mongoose knows how you feel. Chris added a comment clarifying that she was a sad, lonely, worrying individual. On January 10th, Christine wrote a Facebook post in response to reading the article regarding the GameStop incident as written in Wii U Daily. "Off my rocker? How dare she? My protest was sound, valid, and meant to be good. And she completely ignores that on the day I had to defend myself from that ass manager, he verbally attacked and defended me! And I had no idea of what other pains and stresses he was capable of doing, and I did not want him following me either. You all do not understand my fragile mind, nor do any of you all have any caring nor understanding to leave a mentally scarred, damaged, and flawed individual like me be at personal peace of mind. But hell no! You all keep on stressing me more and causing pleasant days gone bad on me, especially most of every last male in this world. All of you are nothing but immature, boorish, uncouth, and damned Neanderthals. It is no wonder why a lot of women detest the lot of you, and why I am most disgusted and ashamed to have been forced to be born a damned member of your male gender. Humph." Also on the 10th, Facebook user Tiki Maniket posted an image on Chris's "Fix Sonic's arms immediately, Sega" page, which depicted the newly designed Sonic the Hedgehog, altered to look like Sonichu. Chris disapproved of the picture and promptly deleted it. On January 11th, Chris wrote a lengthy Facebook post regarding her wish for people to positively like her, and that if her good day is turned to bad by people who threaten her, then she would defend herself to force those offenders to respect her. She reflected that she had been growing more paranoid ever since trolls discovered her in late 2007, in addition to an increasing number of people in real life who have shown her a difficult time. Christine felt that no good could come from killing someone else or herself, as that would only force the person into entering the next realm without any lessons learned, so she saw no need to own a gun, and felt it better to merely use mace if the situation arose. She added that she was a female soul and wanted to be addressed with female pronouns, and would give cold shoulders or stares to those who continued to call her a man. She further wrote that no one should be banned from large retail establishments for crimes less serious than gun withdrawal or robbery, since people tend to have bad days, and that they shouldn't be banned for the way they acted because of how they felt at that one moment. In closing, Christine asked to be left alone to live life in peace, since she had no intention of harming herself or anybody else. It was also on that day that she sent her last text messages to Renee, revealing to her that she felt sad and upset because she shrunk 1 inch in height, and that she lost Renee's love for her, despite the fact that she never expressed any loving interest for Chris. Christine came to the conclusion that Renee was in league with the trolls and had been sharing
Damn
their
those
conversations
trolls!
on the forums.
What are the odds
And in
that
closing,
every
with
woman
Sherlock
that's
in dealing
pretended
with
to
that
be in a
reality
relationship
weighing
with
down
Chris
on her
was in
individual
league with
fucked
the
up head.
trolls? How did that
On
happen?
January 12th, Null, the owner of the new forum site, Kiwi Farms, the successor to the Quickie Forums, shared some info concerning Christian's Club Nintendo account, which was acquired from an employee at Nintendo of America. His post listed all the Nintendo consoles she had registered with her account: 2 3DSs, 1 DS, 1 DSi, 2 DSi XLs, 1 Wii, and 1 Wii U. He stated that she owned almost every first-party game released for the Wii U and 3DS game consoles, and displayed a list of some notable recent purchases, which included Sonic Boom, both for the Wii U and 3DS. Forum members calculated that based on the information provided, Christine had spent between $6,000 and $19,000.
Didn't Chris admit that they became a trans woman because they thought that would like they could probably hook up with more women that way? Wasn't it like a strategical choice and not like genuine? I don't know.
For all
Let
the said
me know.
Nintendo purchases. The next day, Chris addressed this leaked list of owned consoles and games in a Facebook post, clarifying that she never purchased the Sonic Boom games. The 3DS version was actually a present handed to her by her ex-girlfriend Catherine's cousin Al after an alleged bowling outing, and registered the 3DS card that was enclosed with its Club Nintendo account. She was soon after sent the Wii U game in the mail and has never played it. She stated that being gifted the games that she was protesting and accepting them out of politeness did not change her stance for the game. Chris pleaded for Sega to change Sonic's arm color, since it had already caused harm to Chris and to possibly over 1,000 other people as well. 3 days later, Chris wrote on Facebook that despite the judge ordering both Chris and GameStop employees to not come in contact with each other, she claimed that she received 2 calls from the game retailer a day after the first court hearing, signifying that they violated the court rules. On January 19th, Kenneth Engelhart showcased his newly purchased comic books on Facebook, one of which featured the Sonic Boom iteration of Sonic the Hedgehog on the front cover. Christine saw the post and felt betrayed. Kenneth clarified that he bought other comics as well, which featured the older design of Sonic. He later made a detailed post breaking down the percentages of the 4 stories in the comic book and showed that only 18.5% of the Sonic comic book was focused on a storyline based on the Sonic Boom universe. 3 days later, Kiwi Farms user Theoden leaked a text conversation between Chris and an unknown individual, which revealed her thoughts concerning what happened at the GameStop. Chris continued to state that it was an act of self-defense, and that the ass manager scared her and made her feel intimidated.
We've all seen the video. That person was just standing there. There was no threat whatsoever. This is bullshit.
Party told her that they felt she was unstable and potentially dangerous. Chris wrote that 99% of males were generally Neanderthal and aggressive, and that the employee of the store was allegedly a spontaneous attacker, and knew no more about his intentions at the time than a chipmunk's bounty of bananas, hence why she was so scared of what he might do. Christine thought that if the judge read her Facebook posts, she would agree that it was a clear-cut case of self-defense, though the person she was messaging disagreed. It was around this time that Chris sent an envelope to Sega of America's headquarters in San Francisco. The envelope was filled with a large amount of glitter in an effort to produce what is called a glitter bomb.
I don't know. I do want to say. Just taking your what you said at face value. I know it's a joke and it is funny. Bluey is too new to be something Chris Chan would have been a fan of. Bluey came out in 2018. 2018 to 2024. Yeah, Chris Chan wouldn't have been into Bluey because it's too new. But yes, it is anything like if you, like minute changes seem to bother Chris Chan. They did I remember shortly before Chris Chan went to jail, they rebooted My Little Pony and Chris Chan freaked the fuck out and wanted the Friendship is Magic era back because that for whatever reason created the Brony era.
Intended to cover the person opening the envelope with glitter granules and cause general annoyance. She also enclosed a typed letter.
Thank you, by the way. I
in which
appreciate
she threatened
you guys.
to send
Thank
a
you for
glitter
helping me
bomb to
get to
Sega
82%.
every week until they changed Sonic the Hedgehog's arm color. On January 24th, Chris posted a drawing titled, "My Mind is a Blank," in which she depicted herself lying on the floor and blankly staring into space as the audience sees into her mind, which is a recursive depiction of Chris lying on the floor. In the accompanying text, she
That's
wrote,
deep.
"In case anyone was wondering what is on my mind is a blank. Not that you care. I've been very stressed. And if any of you all damn bunch of people and trolls really cared a scrap about me, in reference to me as an interesting person, you all would never have hazed me on Encyclopedia Dramatica in the first place, as well as continue to haze and hate me beyond that on the damn quickie. The lot of you all from around the world have expressed unrequited hatred against me for over 7 freaking years. It would have to take a lot of convincing me that you all like me truly and much at all. There have been multiple times pissing, blackmailing, deceiving, torturing, and hating on me too damn much to make me see most to any of you lot all any favorably. Good grief!" 2 days later, she wrote that her birthday was coming up soon, and so asked again for the required Grand Emporium Lego set, suggesting that if the trolls contributed to buying the set, she may reconsider her feelings about them. Kenneth instead suggested that Chris could create a fundraiser for a trip to the beauty spa. Christine instead reinstated her need for the Grand Emporium Lego set in a reply. She then made another Facebook post in which she asked for more mostly straight Lego road plates from any person who had some to spare. On February 2nd, Chris relisted her Sonichu and Roaster custom-made medallions on eBay, asking people to buy them and give her positive ratings, and further commented that if people liked her, then they should also like her characters. It was on this day that YouTube user Satchmo uploaded an over 1 hour-long documentary-style video about Chris Chan on YouTube, simply titled Christian Weston Chandler Documentary, later renamed to Chris Chan Documentary. In addition to using existing clips related to the story, Satchmo filmed an interview with a special education teacher to offer his insight into Chris's situation. The video was made for a high school project and contains little biased commentary from its creator in an effort to detail the events of Chris's life up to that point in a largely objective manner. The video received a generally positive response and as of August 2020 has amassed over 2.2 million views.
We will briefly go over most of the stories because simply there is too much to tell.
On February 5th, Christine attended her court hearing regarding her pepper spraying at GameStop. Ramspieler, A member of the Kiwi Farms, who was in attendance at the courthouse, reported that the Chandlers had hired the wrong type of lawyer who did not have enough time to prepare for their case. Another Farms member, Zionista, who was also present, provided a more detailed account of their experience. Chris was wearing women's clothes, but didn't look like as much of a disaster as usual. Barb was with him, wearing what looked like a red wool coat. Chris looked pretty nervous while he was waiting for things to get started. He was fidgeting a lot and kept leaning over to ask her questions. I'm pretty sure I heard him ask, "Do you think we should tell them about our troll problems?" once, which made me smile inside. Naturally, even though there were 2 or 3 female PDs in the courtroom, Chris got the one brute male of the lot. He was summoned as Mr. Chandler, which I doubt he liked much. I heard the PD make a brief comment about Chris's appearance, but didn't hear exactly what was said. The PD, Chris, and the judge spoke with each other for about 2 minutes, and eventually the ruling was for a continuation on April 2nd. The 2 of them left the courtroom, only to come back in about a minute or 2 later, with Chris chiding his mother. "What were you thinking, Barbara Ann?" I guess Barb had already forgotten the date of the next hearing, or maybe she thought they needed to come back later in the day or something. Anyway, she and Chris spoke to the PD for another minute or 2. I heard the PD say this to them. "I said you're free to go. Yes, it's April 2nd. April 2nd. I can write that down for you if you want." He looked just a little annoyed, because even this short exchange was enough to hold things up. Chris and Barb were blocking the middle of the courtroom while this was happening, and the judge had to ask them to move out of the way so the next guy up could get through. The 2 of them left a little while later. All Chris had to say on his way out was, "Welp," accompanied by a stress sigh. Graham Spear also filmed a short clip of the Chandlers leaving the courthouse.
Wow. Crazy.
He also posted a video on YouTube of the family's house.
There's Bob's greenhouse.
New windows.
It's like a fucking treehouse, some shit like that.
They had to put new windows in because the firefighters had to break a bunch of the windows.
Chair right over there, if you could see it, I'm not sure.
So much garbage in their yard. Wow.
With a B
Poor doggy. I see a doggy.
License plate on it.
You should never have a dog that you just keep chained up outside. A dog is a family member. They should live inside with you.
After the hearing, she maintained
it's okay
a
to
low
let them
profile
out.
online,
They should have a
making
yard to roam free in, a fenced-in yard that they can't escape from, and you should let them in at night. And they're family members. Like, they shouldn't be just chained up in a yard.
very few posts on Facebook.
gross.
On February 10th, Chris shared a photo of all the medallions she had made so far to order, planning to prepare them all for shipment within the same day. She later edited the post to clarify that she will be signing the orders from then on with her feminine name, Christine. The next day, she expressed her elation over Facebook after finding out
A dog that has a good relationship with their people wouldn't hate being indoors. They would want to be with them. They would consider them part of their family, and they would want to be like around them, especially at night when everybody sleeps.
that the Nintendo game Flipnote Hatuna
And I've noticed this with every size and breed.
3D, the predecessor of which Chris had extensively used on her DS, would be getting released onto the newer 3DS handheld console. On the 28th, Christine paid her condolences to the recently passed actor Leonard Nimoy, quoting his often uttered phrase from the Star Trek franchise, "Live long and prosper." On March 1st, Chris listed 23 more medallions up for sale on eBay and accompanied the news with a post regarding earlier criticisms from customers. "My complaint is that in the past, the odd less than 5 people complained of their medals arriving as shooty. That is why my stellar status is below standard. Each medallion is handmade with care and all of that, which you could not get anywhere else, even from a plastic printing 3D printer. Nothing and nobody is absolutely perfect. Complain to eBay if you'd like me to be able to list more than 20 medals ever again. Thank you for your patronage." On the 8th, she made a list of celebrities that she would invite to a hypothetical party she would be hosting. The list included Britney Spears, Pamela Anderson, Tara Strong, Lady Gaga, Kelsey Grammer, Jerry Seinfeld, Betty White, Monica Rial, Christopher Lloyd, Temple Grandin, and Seth Rogen. She acknowledged that if any of the listed individuals attempted to message her, she would perceive them as trolls or cyberbullies, masquerading as the celebrities, and would ignore them. 4 days later, Christine made a post arguing against the importance that sweethearts' parents or TV show characters placed on the so-called prospects of people. She surmised that every person, regardless of how much money they are making or spending, have the same chance of success and wealth as anyone else. Kim Wilson left a comment, refuting this claim, writing the prospects vary widely from person to person. At around this time, Chris began using the online dating site OkCupid again, updating her profile username from Level Up King to Level Up Queen, and added to her description that she would only consider a threesome if it involved 2 other women. In addition, she added new photos of herself to her profile, including one in which she is standing in front of the mirror, wearing only a bra and pants. Kiwi Farms users noted the appearance of a rainbow wig and a box of enema laxatives in the foreground. On March 9th, Chris America's headquarters, which stated that the company acknowledged her complaints and they resulted in increased stocking of the game due to many returns, replacing of vandalized signs, and hiring of cleanup crews to tend after the glitter bombs. As a compromise, they decided to recall all outdated Sonic merchandise and material released prior to Sonic Boom and update the design of the character to the improved blue-armed model. Chris made a Facebook post exclaiming that they misunderstood her protests. After she pleaded for her friend Anna McLaren to share the letter and let Sega know of their mistake, Anna told Chris that the letter was fake. On March 26th, Chris wrote a comment on a Nintendo news post regarding the low performance of the Sonic Boom video games. She said that the biggest reason for the failure was Sonic's blue arms, which were never meant to be blue. Other commenters felt that it was more because of the glitches in the game.
Yes, dogs that have a sense of like companionship and family, even if they love being outside, which most dogs do, they love having their outside time. If you really have a good relationship with your dog, they will want to at least sleep in the same room or like area as you, if not right in the same bed. And that's when you have a relationship with your dog where they're like a member of the family and not just like a thing that serves a purpose for you. Security, herding, or like whatever else you do. They can do that for you and be part of your family. Because herding dogs it's been bred into them over like, millennia to do certain tasks, which we should at least like simulate those. If you have like, like a border collie, you need to like exercise it because it has a crazy amount of energy that was genetically bred into it, Anyway, don't want to get too preachy about the dog stuff. I have to go to the bathroom really bad, so I will be right back and we'll watch the next one. I forgot it was super fast paced. Shit. What the fuck is going on? All right, here's part 44.
What made her this of Christian? On April 2nd, 2015, Christine left her house early in the morning to eat breakfast and drink coffee at a McDonald's in Charlottesville before making her way to the courthouse to attend her second hearing regarding her assault with pepper spray in a GameStop. Kiwi Farms users, Lipitor, and Hey Jackie Pie were also on their way to the courthouse to record their observations. They decided to make a quick stop at McDonald's and by chance encountered Chris. They took pictures of her from behind, and then later, when she was returning to her car, Kristen drove.
It's like when I took pictures of Anita Sarkeesian
to the courthouse, with the two Kiwi Farms members following in their car close behind. They took a video of her entering the building and later wrote their own accounts of what transpired. He just sat there in his car, seemed like he was playing a game on his phone or some shit. He sat in there for nearly 30 minutes. I noticed he parked in a spot with a sign that read, "Parking for judges only, clear as fucking day," entitled cunt. We wanted to go in after him, so we just waited in front of the door. From behind me, I hear a string of like 9 stress sighs in a row. I turn around to see him. He had removed the NLP glasses and wore his normal ones now.
Back in the old school, like, days where the feminist frequency days, I had just started doing Drunken Peasants for like probably 6 months at the time, and I was out in public with friends playing games at like a tabletop gaming place in Columbus, and Anita Sarkeesian walked in. And it was at the time we were like laughing at Anita Sarkeesian videos. And I took a picture of her with like the lower half of my face in it because I wasn't showing my face at the time. And Anita Sarkeesian was in the background of it. And I posted it, and then she like blew it up and freaked out about it. When in reality, she didn't even know I was there because I didn't even get anywhere near her or say a word to her or do anything. I snapped a picture and left in a public place. And there were fucking idiots saying like I could be arrested for that. It's like, oh, really? Come on. Taking a picture of someone who at the time was like a celebrity. She had been on like mainstream news a bunch of times and shit. It's like the people on her side were so fucking stupid about it. It was crazy.
We go in there, and he's just standing there at the metal detector. He had so much fucking jewelry to remove, like bracelets and necklaces. It took forever for him to get them off. The clerk at the metal detector rolled his eyes at him while he was doing it. After he got done, he just sat down in a chair in front of the courtroom, but not in it. He was stress-sighing and looking around nervously. Anyway, he finally fucking got up and went in, and we went throughout the metal detectors. By the time we got through, I had just opened the courtroom door. He was coming back out, and we almost bumped into each other. He said apologetically, "Well, got that out of the way quick," and dashed out the door to the courtroom. This was like 30 minutes before his hearing, so we didn't know what to make of that. So we just sat down and boring court stuff happened for like 10 or so minutes. We ended up leaving because it was clear he wasn't coming back. Must have been a continuance. Chris is definitely not gonna have an outburst though, guys. He's super nervous. Maybe that's just cause Barb wasn't there, I don't know. Her case was continued until May 7th. On April 4th, Christine updated her followers on Facebook with a post proclaiming that she was watching the second part of the 2-part My Little Pony Friendship is Magic season premiere. She apparently did.
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
I remember you stalking Sarkeesian.
Here it
the
is.
The most crazy part was when you managed to stop her fully funded web series and forced her not to tell where all the money went.
Exactly. Yeah, here's the infamous post. She retweeted it. Ben saw our buddy Anita in downtown Columbus today. It's so funny. She said, "Dear dudes, don't stereotypically take photos of women without their knowledge or consent. It's beyond creepy." Ooh, it still exists. The actual, oh, I can't retweet it. I can't retweet it because I'm blocked. That sucks. I didn't know the post still existed. Yeah. Holy shit.
Not see the first part, since she had to go eat breakfast and buy glue for her projects, but so far disliked part 2, singling out her aversion to conformity. She also expressed her dissatisfaction with a new character. Kristen updated her eBay account with a new item, a custom-made Sonichu figurine, largely made from a Sonic the Hedgehog amiibo, which was a special figurine produced by Nintendo, which could wirelessly interact with game consoles, such as adding a character to a game via a chip in the amiibo's base. She customized the original amiibo by repositioning Sonic's limbs, coloring over his body, adding additional features with modeling clay, and gluing on a Pikachu tail taken from a Pikachu amiibo. In addition, Chris offered a Roaster version as well, which was also steamingly customized from a Sonic figurine. Within the first few hours of this announcement, Christine managed to sell off all 10 available amiibos, which cost $41 each. However, 4 members deduced that since she had to buy 2 amiibos to create a single Sonichu or Roaster one, in addition to further customization with Crayola Model Magic Clay and acrylic paint, Chris made a profit of about $10 to $14 for each figurine sold, before additional eBay fees. Kiwi Forum's moderator and former troll, Marvin, confirmed that Christine was aware of the low profits, and that she mostly made them for fun. Upon receiving the figurines, some of the buyers reported problems, such as Sonichus arriving broken in half, or ears or tails coming off before the package was opened. Despite this, seemingly no one decided to file a complaint against Chris or leave a negative rating. On April 7th, Christine made a Facebook post explaining why she chose to use Sonic's amiibo base that could transfer the Sonic the Hedgehog character to a game console rather than Pikachu's, and suggested that people vote for Sonichu to become a downloadable character for the Nintendo game Super Smash Bros., which featured a wide selection of playable characters from various video games. In addition, she offered a drawing depicting Sonichu himself, promoting his own amiibo figurine, and talking about having fun playing Super Smash Bros. This request resulted in trolls submitting parodic applications to Nintendo, giving their own reasons for why Sonichu should be included in the game. A week later, Chris addressed the recent Free the Nipple movement, which aimed to normalize women not wearing bras while out in public, and optionally, freely exposing their nipples. She approved of their stance, while also countering with her own Braziers for Males movement. She hoped that more women would feel free to express themselves with their bodies, and conversely hoped that more men learned to be more modest and wear bras. Christine also attached a photo of herself wearing a bra. Her Facebook friend Kenneth Engelhart left a reply, stating that female breasts were functional and needed protection, while the male variant had no such need or purpose. Chris felt that the distinction was irrelevant. Her other friend, William Waterman, felt her statement was sexist. On that same day, Chris wrote a Facebook post concerning her reasons for why she thought that the free Wii U game, Disney Infinity, was mediocre. On April 16th, Christine posted a drawing with a proclamation from Roastu, saying that she picked the Metroid video game series character, Samus, while playing Super Smash Bros. Chris added that if Sonichu is chosen to be a new character in the game, she would in return possibly make more Sonichu comics. In her next Facebook post, Chris elaborated on the differences between Roastu and the Sonic character Amy Rose, by which Roastu was originally inspired. She clarified that Roastu possessed quills on her back, a different hairstyle, was more independent in her character, had a longer tail, and that her breasts were larger than Amy's. Later that day, she made another post, commenting on the proposed Public Restroom Act in Florida, which would prevent transgender people from using the public bathroom of their choice. Chris was against this motion, stating that transgender people should be allowed to use the restrooms of their opposite birth gender. She felt that some people might feel offended at trans women and trans men using the bathrooms, and that some perverted men might take advantage of the situation and disguise themselves as women in order to enter the women's restrooms, but thought it was unlikely to happen. The next day, Christine countered the claim made by a survey published in the UK magazine Daily Mail that Charlottesville, Virginia, was found to be the happiest place in the United States. She listed off some notable individuals that she felt were amongst the many paranoid, unfriendly, offensive, and rude people of the city, which included Michael Snyder, Mary Lee Walsh, every male police officer, and trolls and cyberbullies who continued to lurk in the area. On April 21st, Christine updated her Facebook profile to reflect her recent change in identity, officially changing her first name to Christine and her gender to female. She reinstated that she identified as a lesbian and shared a post from the Human Rights Campaign supporting marriage equality. The following day, she shared a petition which aimed to free an autistic 6th grader who was charged with felony assault. Soon after, she shared an article from NBC News concerning two parents dealing with their daughter believing she was meant to be a boy instead. Christine left a lengthy comment supporting the child's choice as she understood the feeling he was going through. She recommended the boy to hang on to his birth gender as it would aid in starting up a family later on in life, and encouraged him to stay in school to learn a lot of details and facts. On the 25th, Christine posted a drawing of Black Sonichu, also known as Blake, talking about who he would choose to play as in the game Super Smash Bros. He would choose either Ganondorf, a villain from the Legend of Zelda video game franchise, or the Mario Bros. Villain, Bowser. 4 days later, she shared an article which revealed that the Sonic Boom video game was originally meant to be titled as Sonic Synergy, among other scrapped ideas. Chris felt that if the game was released as first intended, she would never have had to protest Sonic's blue arms and develop mixed feelings for the song Sonic Boom, featured in the 1993 game Sonic CD. On May 3rd, Christine announced on Facebook that she had 10 more Sonichu amiibos ready-made for sale on eBay. In a later comment, she updated her readers that she planned to get the drawings stating Wild and Bubbles' choices for Super Smash Bros. Finished by the following day, since she was keeping herself busy cleaning out trash in the backyard. Later that day, Kiwi Farms user Lucrid wrote that they witnessed Chris at Charlottesville's Impulse Gay Social Club, enjoying a show starring drag queens, and wrote an account of what they saw. He was wearing a sleeveless blue dress with white flowers. It looked like something from Goodwill, over a dark navy blue t-shirt, sneakers, and normal glasses. Chris hardly talked to anyone, though he seemed to be really enjoying the show. He tipped all of the performers. It is customary to tip the performers that you like, so it is not that unusual, though Chris showed his appreciation for every single performer. I think there were at least 10 performances in total, with an intermission in the middle somewhere. He stayed for the whole show, which means that he didn't get back to Ruckersville until well after midnight. On the other end of the stool that Chris was sitting on, there were two biological girls. I have no idea if they are Christorians or just random girls, but I noticed Chris was trying to sit closer to them, and it looked like he was trying to listen in on their conversation without taking part in it. It was a little weird, but then I turned around later and he was talking to them. When he left though, he wasn't with anyone else. After the drag show itself ended...
Oh, no, this is another... I'm so sorry. I have been drinking. I realize it's an onlooker that took these photos.
Typically stick around and socialize. There was still music playing, and Chris kind of did a swing dance thing where he was standing, and his eyes were half shut. Oddly enough, the expression he made reminded me of how he looked in the For JR's Eyes Only video.
Oh no!
The Impulse had become one of Chris's most frequent spots, attending the venue almost every weekend. On May 5th, Chris posted the Super Smash Bros. Character choices for two of her Sonichu characters. Wild Sonichu would play as the eponymous Donkey Kong or Diddy Kong, while Bubbles Rosechu would take the Mario character Peach. She then signed and shared a petition aiming to induct musician Melissa Etheridge into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. On May 7th, Christine attended her scheduled court hearing in Charlottesville. Kiwi Farms user Lipitor left an account concerning her appearance, demeanor, and the general goings-on of the hearing. It was a Girl Scout, green/teal color, and cut, worn over a white t-shirt. The cut was just above the knees. Christian wore dirty old sneakers with old gym socks with this. He also had a matching hat that was the same color as his dress. You could tell by his face that he thought he looked cute as shit while wearing that hat, but he looked like a fucking moron. Christian sat near the front with his back to the side wall so he could scope everyone in there out. Saw him lock eyes on some dude and pull his phone out and text someone. You're not allowed to have phones with cameras, so he had a flip phone with him. It took fucking hours for them to finally get to his case. When they finally did, he got very nervous. They kept calling him by both male and female pronouns at different times. They called him Chris/Christian/Christine, and a couple of times Crystal. I know Crystal is his daughter, but apparently the judge accidentally called him that a few times, and I was in no position to correct the man. Christian didn't seem fazed by any of this, and went with whatever name/pronoun used at the time. They talked forever, and it was mostly just establishing what happened and what the charge was. So it was hard to hear, so the next part is a bit speculative. It sounded like the reason for the continuance was because they wanted Christian to seek a shrink/counselor/whatever, so they could do a mental health plea. They wanted him to go like right after the court too. He seemed to agree to this at the time. On the way out, my field agent was confronted by some lady. She asked the field agent what they were doing there and what their name was. She said she was a reporter. My field agent was like, "Yeah, I'm not telling you that." She shifted tone and said she just wanted to buy my field agent a cup of coffee and hear his story. She wanted to know why a community of people on the internet literally document everything in his life. An interview was declined. The case was given another continuance, with the next hearing scheduled for June 11th. On May 12th, Christine uploaded a few new photos of herself, giving flirty poses for the mirror. Kim Wilson left a comment, revealing that Chris had been taking hormones to aid her transition. The new photos and hormone revelation were discussed in a thread on QB Farms, which Chris referenced in a Facebook comment, writing that Farms user, Cat Party, had correctly guessed her bra cup size as a D and asked Cat Party to enjoy her cookies, giving him the pet name, Sugar. Kenneth then wrote a comment, warning her that taking female hormones can cause serious health complications.
Sugar?
Another Facebook friend, Rowan Dunstan, asked her to talk to a medical professional concerning her use of hormones, to which Chris replied that she had already discussed the matter with a doctor who approved of her treatment. A day later, she posted a photo on her Braziers for Males Facebook page of herself shirtless, with her nipples covered up by heart-shaped pasties. In the accompanying text, she boasted that her breast size had increased from Betty B's to Daria D's. On May 13th, Chris wrote a post targeting possible friends with benefits. Hey y'all, this post for my new women friends who I have had the pleasure meeting lately. My main focus has been on being friends, and I will continue to honor and respect y'all as such, but I am also looking for friends with benefits. I will not personally push it. It is your call. I will still be your friend regardless. To be direct, I'm open to all women, straight, bi, and lesbian. In fact, while I am fairly educated about tribadism and abreast with theories, I would appreciate some experience with a lesbian or two who knows what she likes to enlighten me better, including on sensual massage and all that. I understand how my born part, shall we say, would offend, and Charlottesville is a small city, which is why I am posting this note online. A friend can be referred to me as well. My DQ friends can help me there as well, please. On my giving you all each my contact card, y'all know how to contact me directly. Facebook messages, texting, and emails are highly recommended. You may telephone me as well, but please leave your name and phone number in the voicemail, and I will call you back. Thank you all, and have a great and safe day. 2 days later, Chris wrote an additional extended version of her previous post, adding more specific details concerning her want of true platonic friends and friends with benefits alike. Soon after, she posted another advertisement for ladies, hoping that one would befriend her and then try her sexually. She highlighted that she would provide traditional intercourse for the straight women, clit rubbing and pussy eating for the lesbians, and anything else for bisexual.
I was taking a drink, and then someone said, "And what?" Hold on.
And then try her sexually.
And then try her sexually.
Of true platonic friends and friends with benefits alike. Soon after, she posted another advertisement for ladies, hoping that one would befriend her and then try her sexually.
That was what I laughed like mid-drink. Okay.
She highlighted that she would provide traditional intercourse for the straight women, clit rubbing and pussy eating for the lesbians, and anything else for bisexual women. Additionally, Chris could offer massages, kissing, eye contact, and lots of attention.
Eye contact.
On that same
That's
day,
what you need, right?
Christine posted the next installment in her series of Sonichu characters, talking about what characters they would play as in Super Smash Bros. In this case, Angelica Rosechew proclaimed...
I want the clip of me misting, like laughing and misting the drink.
that she would
as a
choose the
donut
character
roll.
Pit from the Kid Icarus video game franchise. On May 18th, Chris posted on Facebook that she did not know and understand everything, nor was she perfect, clarifying that in fact, nobody was. However, she extensively read about the history of lesbians in America and learned of the hardships they had suffered. She wrote that friendship with women was her top priority, and told all haters who had nothing positive to contribute to go to the left and far behind her in the distant past with their cruel ways. She soon after liked an article from the magazine Elephant Journal concerning how to master talking dirty in a sexual scenario. Soon after again, Cruz liked an article from Playboy magazine on Facebook, which wrote of the medical benefits of masturbation. At around this time, Kiwi Farms user Pickle Inspector sent Christine a private message on Facebook asking if she was no longer interested in having intercourse with heterosexual women. Chris denied this, writing that she was interested in women of all orientations. Pickle Inspector then asked if she was willing to have sex with male-to-female transsexuals, to which she replied with a fervent no, since they were born with a dick. On the 21st, Christine posted an update telling her followers that her counterpart that lived in Quickville was also a lesbian trans woman and had transformed herself into an updated version of Chris-chan Sonichu. In her new form, her shoes were different, she had a rounded feminine tail, and her breasts were larger. In addition, she noticed that not only did she have a penis, but a vagina as well. She asked Magi-chan to mentally link with her and examine her insides. He told her that she had a fully developed uterus, ovaries, and even some ovium. She had an idea, which concerned her changing back into her human form to extract some of her essence, and then changing back into Chris-chan Sonichu to insert her essence into herself. After a brief battle with Count Graduan, she was examined in a hospital to discover that she had impregnated herself. 2 weeks later, she laid a single egg, after which time she transformed back into the human form of Christine. After another 3 weeks, the egg hatched, containing twins, a Sani and a Rosie. She named them Russell and Cynthia, and they both grew up healthy without any birth defects, not even autism. The post came attached with a new drawing depicting the previous version of Chris-chan Sonichu, transitioning into her current form, and a few photos of a new amiibo fashioned to look like Chris-chan Sonichu. Chris planned to include this story into the wider canon of her Sonichu storyline. Rowan left a comment, asking if her Sonichu form should instead be a Rosechu, since she had transitioned into a woman. Christine replied that she chose to maintain the name Chris-chan Sonichu, though she later considered changing it to Chrissy-chan Rosechu. On May 23rd, Christine posted answers to some questions which were asked in a video from the BBC Free Speech Facebook page regarding transgender people. She said that she always had a feminine soul within her. She uses the public restrooms of the gender of her choosing, implying that she hated urinals due to splashback and lack of privacy. She clarified that she felt comfortable in herself as a lesbian transgender, and that she set herself apart from the gay transvestites with male mindsets. Chris added that she was at ease in making friends with drag queens, as long as they mutually respected each other's wishes. She expressed that she would never go back to being a male, and if anyone were interested in seeing how she looked as a man, they could look up her name.
DP on YouTube. The rest is history.
There you go. The egg that you hatched from, though, was Egged, right? Let me call Egged. Let's see how he's doing. I won't accept no for an answer, Egged. Let me turn on the virtual camera. Egged! Egged! Let's get more donos. Yeah. Whoa!
Tip guys.
Let's get more donos. Yeah.
Tip guys.
He's my little monkey. Yeah. Dance, monkey, dance.
Tip guys.
Dance. Let's get more donos. Come on, monkey.
Tip guys.
Exactly. Let's get more donos. Yeah. That's what I'm saying, bitch. We're almost at 85%. 15% away from the ghoul. Thank you, guys. I love you all. Let's keep it rolling. When's Egged coming on here? Hold on, I'm calling him. I don't want that. There we go. That's a better one. Egged! I'm calling Egged right now.
On Google and find many photos on the internet. On May 24th, she posted an image of a background My Little Pony character named by fans as Vinyl Scratch, and accompanied the picture with a written post describing her sensations at the Impulse Gay Social Club. Chris wrote that the music was so loud that it reverberated within her breasts, and the vibrations made her feel aroused. She asked her readers if anyone else had a similar experience, and whether science could explain the phenomenon. The next day, Kiwi Farms user Hey Jackie Pie wrote an eyewitness account of Chris's activities at the club. Chris wore a pink shirt, which appeared to be the same one in his Facebook post. He was seated with two young women and a man, who were later revealed to be in college. He initially seemed to be part of their group, but this later seemed not to be true. It wasn't clear what he was saying, but at parts he was very loud. He didn't seem to be socially aware of how loud he is or how bad his voice sounds. And his mood? He was immensely happy and having a very good time. I cannot overstate this. This very well seemed to be the greatest night of his life. He approached multiple groups of girls around the bar area and talked to them for about 5 minutes each. The girls didn't seem put off or creeped out and were equally invested in the conversation. He talked to about 4 or 5 groups of girls before an MC announced the show would soon begin. It was like he owned the room, or was one of the regulars that everyone knew and loved. The MC was getting everyone excited for the show and making several sexual jokes about hooking up, 69, cock, etc. Everyone seemed to be enjoying it. The MC then talked to a few people asking names and where they were from and welcoming them. The group Chris was initially with had a newcomer, and when the MC walked over, Chris stood up and yelled, "They're in college!" Again, I cannot understate how loud this was. Because his voice is naturally high-pitched, it was very piercing when he yelled. The MC even then said, "We hope to see you on stage soon, Christine." It wasn't clear how he reacted, but yeah, it was actually suggested Chris do drag. The dancer would dance to the song on stage and slowly guests would reach out with a dollar bill, extended to tip. The dancers would walk out into the seating area, singing and collecting dollar bills and dancing their way through the crowds. Chris tipped every dancer. At the intermission, Chris made his rounds on more groups of women before resuming his seat. He was constantly scouting the area for women to talk to.
It was a drag show.
Besides the college guy in his initial group, he never talked to a single guy. After a minute or so, he then stood up and began to skip and prance his way toward the bathroom at the front of the stage, but only to put something, possibly a piece of paper or napkin, in the trash. He then skipped back again. He was beaming with happiness and glee. A few minutes later, he walked to the bathroom at the front of the stage. While he was in there, a woman started dancing by herself in the dance area, as women typically do in clubs. She seemed to be with a group of people her age, about 40, and just wanting to have fun and dance. When Chris exited the bathroom, he beelined right to her and started to dance with her. He appeared to say, "I'm Christine," when he leaned in to talk to her, and she appeared to respond, "Oh, hi." Chris was very engaged in conversation with the woman, more so than any other encounter he had that night. This didn't seem necessarily unusual because he was simply trying to see if she had any feelings for her and was just aggressively leaning in. She was being very friendly in response too. It was only unusual in the sense that this woman was clearly straight, clearly with a group of people, clearly out of his league. She just seemed to play along with it for a bit. As I said earlier, Chris was immensely happy, and it was very clear he was enjoying himself. But this seemed to be more than just a great night out. It seemed as if this club means much more to him than just a fun place. It's a place where he is welcome, where he can talk to women and try to make friends, a place where he can even dance with women, and a place where, maybe, he can meet a sexual partner. In many ways, I think it will become like a Manchester High to him. His happiness was very evident in the way he skipped to the trash can. It looked foolish and silly, and something a little schoolgirl or child would do. Also noteworthy, there were numerous sexual jokes and references of the X-rated variety, which I think he thoroughly enjoys, because he thinks if so many people there are having sex, so too will he. In many ways, his overly sexualized Facebook posts are not surprising given his history. We know Chris has always been interested in sex, but he probably thinks it's normal to post these updates because this language is so persistent at the club. It's also clearly Chris's autism and/or a variety of other factors that he can't tell the difference between when this language is socially acceptable, hosting a drag show, and when it isn't. Facebook. Also, many people seem to think Chris's presence must have been a horrifying experience for everyone else. It wasn't. While no one seemed to be interested in him beyond polite and playful conversation and dancing, no one seemed repulsed by him. Chris seemed to come off as a silly but fun-loving girly girl who is just so happy to be having such a great time. So while he might have looked foolish or silly, he was just so happy that people either feel a bit sorry for him or just seem to be happy he's so happy. Hey Jackie Pie then shared 3 videos they filmed at the club of Christine offering tips to drag queens. And then enjoying a dance with a woman. On May 25th, in honor of Memorial Day, Christine wrote that she was watching a program on the TV channel PBS with her mother, and that she had also watched the film American Sniper. She reflected on war, and that even though countries strive to protect their communities and homes,
This
people
is
got
like
hurt
probably
deep,
the
emotionally
worst
and mentally,
part of the
and so
Christian
wished that a more
series.
peaceful resolution could have replaced acts of war. She then commented on her father, Robert Chandler, missing him every day. She highlighted that he served in the Signal Corps in Seoul, Korea, and made Korean friends there. Chris later protested on Facebook against the proposed name change of the minor My Little Pony character, who was called either Derpy, Ditsy Doo, or Bubbly Mare. She thought that changing the character's name to Muffins, after the food she liked, would cause riots and catastrophes in a similar vein as when Sonic's arm color was changed to blue. On the 26th, Chris completed an online quiz to discover what kind of lady she was. She found that she was the mysterious lady, a revelation she greeted with elation. On June 3rd, Christine shared Punchy Sonichu's choice for Super Smash Bros., Little Mac from the Punch-Out series of games, due to their common interest in boxing. Soon after, she posted that she had made 10 more customized amiibo characters and listed them up for sale on eBay. The next day, she made another bulletin announcement for her amiibos. On June 5th, Chris revealed that while she was making the latest batch of figurines, she had accidentally cut her finger with a pocket knife and had to go to the hospital to get it stitched. In addition to dealing with that discomfort, she felt further crestfall because no one had yet to show any interest in purchasing one of the new Sonichu amiibos. In response to this post, 3 figurines were quickly bought by unknown buyers. 2 days later, Christine posted one of her previous pictures of herself with an overlay, fashioned to look like the front cover of the magazine Vanity Fair, following a popular trend at the time in response to Caitlyn Jenner, a transgender woman formerly known as Olympic athlete Bruce Jenner, being featured on the cover.
Oh my god.
In the accompanying text, she expressed her pride
Bruce
in
Jenner
being
was
transgender.
a fucking like...
The next day, Christine was selected to
He
be the
was a
Christine Tootsie of the Week
powerhouse
by a
athletically.
blog critical of some aspects of the transgender community, Twansphobic. On June 9th, she listed 2 new items for sale on eBay, a 1990 silver dollar coin and a commemorative coin made to celebrate the release of the game Mario Galaxy. On that same day, she wrote of her shock upon learning that there were confirmed plans to make a new Sonic Boom game for the Nintendo 3DS. She pleaded for retailers not to stock the game and said that she could not personally go out to the stores to protest the game like before. She then commented on the retailer Best Buy's official Facebook page, telling them to tell Sega of America and Japan to not send copies of their Sonic Boom game to their stores until Sonic's arm color was changed back to tan, and that failure to comply with her demands would result in attacks from countless trolls, hackers, and cyberbullies because of her standing as an influential individual. Later again, she wrote a Facebook post in response to an interview with Omar Woodley, producer for the upcoming game Sonic Boom: Fire and Ice. Bring to me, in person, the one called Omar Woodley, so I can tell to his face of my plights and troubles I went and had to jie through because of the sensory overloading, horrific arm color change that should never have happened! And then, let me kick and beat him up upon further refusal to change the arm color back to tan in everything Sonic Boom. Damn and Omar Woodley. She later edited the post to include fellow producer Stephen Frost in her demands. Due to the news regarding the new Sonic Boom game, Chris proclaimed that Sega have ruined a peaceful, pleasant life for her, and in revenge, she took off the arms of a Sonic plush doll. Commenters commented that if she had purchased the doll herself, then she was supporting the franchise she was protesting against. Later that day, in response to a comment regarding the possibility of playing as Sonichu in the new Sonic Boom game, the official Twitter account for Sonic the Hedgehog acknowledged it and said that it may be possible only if Sonichu were to go through a drastic redesign, which would include giving him blue arms. A member of the Kiwi Farms privately sent Chris a message detailing the Twitter exchange, but she refused to believe its veracity. On June 10th, Chris posted a photo of her full collection of custom Sonichu characters, and wrote that she was hesitant about putting up the other amiibos for sale due to the added difficulty in expenses and acquisition of the necessary parts and character chips. That evening, she attended an LGBTQ
I have to piss so bad. I'm gonna let it play and pee really bad. I'll be right back.
youth and family bowling event with other members of the community. On June 11th, Christine went to her next scheduled appearance in court. Kiwi Farms user Asper Hess was at the courthouse and wrote an account of what they saw. He was wearing an aqua blue outfit with matching eyeshadow, blue sweater, blue colored blouse with vertical stripes, blue skirt with vertical stripes, dark stockings. Everything matched well except for his grotty sneakers, which are blue but the wrong shade. He had a headband, and his hair looked the way it has in all his recent photos. He wore his glasses. He had his black purse with all the jangly shit hanging off it. He was reading something. I couldn't tell what it was at first, but when he stood up, it turned out to be the issue of Vanity Fair with Miss Caitlyn Jenner on the cover. He uses his index finger to help him read. When I first arrived, there was a middle-aged woman sitting next to him. I assumed she was his public defender, but as soon as the judge arrived, she went up to speak with the judge and left the room. Before she left, Chris said to her, "I'm Christine, by the way." The woman introduced herself to Chris and said goodbye, so Chris had apparently initiated small talk. A few minutes later, Chris did a little hand wave to a female lawyer who walked in, who returned the wave. He seemed to be checking out every woman who entered the courtroom. The main reason why I made this last-minute decision to attend was that he's been enraged about the new Blarms game, and I was hoping he'd show up with a sign demanding justice for transsexuals or something equally dramatic. Chris's mood was entirely the opposite. He was self-contained, calm, and collected. He was not angry, stressed, or nervous.
All right.
He was not fidgety.
Sorry.
It was very hard to believe.
Also, I'm communicating with people for like things that are happening later, which are like I'm doing this stream, but I'm also multitasking. My apologies.
That this was the person who just the day before had expressed a public wish to beat up Sega executives.
Apologize.
He sat and read his magazine. At one point, something he was reading caught his interest, and he said, suddenly, causing the woman sitting next to him to turn her head to look at him. He seemed somewhat bored. He yawned twice, loudly, putting his hand over his mouth, which struck me as rather self-indulgent and overly dramatic. Around 9:40, after a couple quiet cases, they called Christian Chandler. At this point, the lawyer who had defended the probation violator walked over to Chris and escorted him to the front, revealing himself as the public defender. He is young, skinny, bearded, wore tweed. He seemed like a good guy, pretty relaxed. It was apparent that the first words out of the judge's mouth was that there was a continuance. Chris asked a question. The judge said it would be dealt with at the next hearing, and that he should stay in touch with his lawyer. She and the lawyer wore big, patronizing smiles. They treated him like a sensitive child. Their attitude was, "Everyone is your friend. No one wants to attack you." In the previous probation case, the judge was serious and all business, because she was speaking with an adult. Here, even though macing someone is also pretty serious business, she knew she was dealing with a special individual, and it was pointless to deal with him normally. So Chris has basically already won over the judge. Chris's attorney walked him out of the courtroom, and I followed them out. They hung out on the front porch for about a minute to cover some issues. He told Chris that for the next hearing, be a little early, like you were today. Another lawyer, a pretty young woman, joined them, and she was also all smiles. Chris complimented her clothing, and she replied, "I like your color too."
Yeah,
for me, the most
Chris
remarkable
always
thing was how
working
much progress Chris had
numbers
made
game.
in getting over his social
Another
anxiety.
boyfriend
He was
free
very
girl.
eager to initiate contact with any pretty woman he saw. I think it's something he should be proud of. He's not the same guy who had to post a sign on the wall because of his noviophobia. This is actually a proven method for overcoming social anxiety. The more experience you have in talking to strangers, the easier it becomes. Of course, none of this will help him find a sweetheart, because while Chris is friendly, he's also immediately off-putting. He's instantly recognizable as a weirdo. After she got back home, Chris wrote a lengthy post on Facebook that was largely the same as the
They
one she
should
had
tell them to
originally
not
made
do
after she
this.
was released from jail in December 2014. Afterwards,
A lawyer's
she posted
nightmare.
another message regarding Sonic Boom on her "Fix Sonic's arms immediately, Sega!" Facebook page, which was also copied from a previous message, telling her followers to order
Fix on his arms immediately, Sega!
Sega to recall the games, take the TV show off the air, and change Sonic's arm color. In a shorter post, she clarified that as opposed to Sonic, her alter, Christian Sonichu form, underwent a transformation to match her female identity. She claimed that Sonic had no reason to
Christian
get a
might be
design
the most
change.
documented
She
person
later
in
posted
human
a drawing
history.
of Magichan, who wrote
Because of
that
the
he would choose to
internet.
play as the Pokemon Mewtwo in Super Smash Bros.
Not just on the
However,
internet.
Due to the scarcity of the Mewtwo amiibo, Christine had resorted to using the character chip and base of
I
the
don't know
Earthbound
if
character
anyone
Ness
is this
due to
well
his psychic powers
documented.
for the customized Magichan
Anyone
amiibo
else?
figurine. On June 12th, Chris attended a burlesque show in Charlottesville, in which she possibly performed as well as part of
Oh
an
my
audience
God.
participation segment. She wrote an account of that night the following day. "Do you know who likes me? These women like me. I was at the Boom Boom burlesque show Friday
Boom
night,
Boom.
and Zora Nova was
By the
quite
way, if you go to like Southeast Asia, boom boom means like sex. Boom boom, it means like having sex.
taken with my audience support and participation. On stage, I acted a drown quite well. I applied Naraja lip
That's why a
balm with
lot of places
vaginal
are called, like, the
outlines
boom
and the
boom
flexed
room.
muscles and booty.
And like that kind
Not
of
only
shit.
was I awarded a couple of blow pops, but I also won the raffle, complete with a trophy and a tiara, among other most valuable prizes. And kisses and hugs were shared with great delight. And I also made more women friends, as well as met with a couple of other recent women friends once again as well. Thank you all, ladies, for a most fabulous and fun night, and for becoming my new friends too. She further added a post that praised the performers, describing their striptease movements as smooth and fluid, and was wholly satisfied with her first burlesque show. Also on June 13th, Christine expressed light disappointment after seeing that in the latest episode of My Little Pony, the character Ditsy Do was officially renamed to Muffins. She posted another advertisement for
The
ladies,
next day,
hoping
she
that one
commented
would
on the
befriend
meaning
her
of the word
and then try her
pristine,
sexually,
which she had
used
highlighted
previously
that
in
she
the
would
small
provide
print
traditional
traditional Vanity Fair cover image. She wrote that, like the definition, she liked to be clean after a daily shower, but aside from that, she was pristinely not perfect. The next day, Christine shared an article from omgfacts.com about a species of female-only lizards nicknamed lesbian lizards. Chris considered them more wild than the lesbian bonobos monkeys. On June 16th, she pondered that since she still felt attraction for women, she considered herself a lesbian in the aftermath of her transition. Likewise, if a female-to-male transgender person were to be attracted to males, they would be considered gay. On June 22nd, Christine announced on Facebook that she created a new eBay account, Pristine Christine 1982, to start fresh with no negative ratings or selling restrictions.
There you
Though at
go.
the beginning, she was limited
Just
to
create a
posting
new
a maximum
account.
of 10 items. She first listed autographed photos of herself, the descriptions of the listings for which were largely copied from her old Jesus Guides Me Too account without any alterations, including the archaic reference to herself as Christian. She later edited the post to state that next month she will list Sonichu medallions for sale as well. On the 24th, she shared a YouTube video called Geraldine, concerning a man's overnight transformation into a woman, and wrote about a story in which a couple moved into a house that was in a bad state, and the female party decided to be grateful for the things she hated, which made her feel that she deserved better. So they gradually began improving their house and turning it into their dream home. Chris commented that if it were that easy, she would say that she was grateful for her penis, but wished she would have a full functioning vagina and would turn into a woman like the person in the video. On June 26th, she celebrated the Supreme Court's decision to legalize same-sex marriage across the country and wished for the date to be remembered as Pride-Dependence Day. Chris reflected that she felt compatible with any woman, and that she always felt like a woman, pointing out that she could never get into male interests, instead feeling more appreciative of fashions, makeup, shopping, empathy, identifying feelings, and looking to resolve problems reasonably. Kim Wilson interjected in the comments, writing that Christine was not compatible with straight women, since she was a lesbian, while William Waterman questioned the meaning of the word Pride-Dependence. On July 2nd, Christine entered a competition called Summer at GameStop, which called on gamers to share their stories of building personal relationships through playing video games. She elaborated on her intentions in a Facebook post. "Hey, I just entered this thing as an ironic joke. Dig it. Happened to me more than once. Oh brother, yeah. Good luck finding anyone who has found actual and true love with anyone they met online before face to face. Too many damn fucked up fakes tugging at your heartstrings for video fails from you, and access to your Hexbox or PSN account for Disgaea 3 DLC and a full game download of Burnout Paradise. They fail you for their lulz. Not to be a hater or anything bad like that, but you should verify any and all entrants, the actual identities of both people and their meeting and background stories to the fullest of background checks. Guess what? Everyone will lie their burning pants off, and your prize will be left unclaimed forever. I am serious, and that is exactly what I told them, straight up." Also on that day, she posted an image macro, which wrote of a heart being so resilient that it still burned and broken. Chris added that hers had also been soul-shattered, beaten, scarred, blackmailed, duped,
Holy
deceived, and more
shit.
by fake ex-girlfriends and trolls and cyberbullies. She later wrote a brief post, revealing that she felt good because she looked down and found that her freshly grown breasts fit snugly into her D-cup brassiere. Later again, Chris posted a drawing of pink lemonade in a glass jug being poured through a giant vagina and onto a depiction of Christine herself, wearing only panties and cupping her breasts in her hands, with her turquoise bra thrown off to the side. The text on the drawing read, "Pink fresh lemonade, so good to the last drop from the glass, with class." In the text in the Facebook post, she dared people to report it. In the comment section, Kim Wilson asked her if it were menstrual blood being depicted, with Chris answering in a vehement no, clarifying that it was simply pink lemonade, or alternatively, urine. Other commenters generally left positive reviews, including one, Jessica Quinn, who asked for an explanation about what was happening in the picture. Chris told her that she was being showered with pink or strawberry lemonade through a vagina. Kenneth Engelhart asked why it was being poured through a vagina, with Chris stating that it was because she was most attracted to women. The following day, her Facebook page disappeared due to unknown reasons.
Damn!
As she continued to embrace her new identity, Christine felt more at ease at mingling with
How
seemingly
did
like-minded
it
people.
is weird that
A feeling of belonging she
Christian
had
was
not felt
going
in a
out
very long
doing
time.
this.
The gay club was a sanctuary, a relief from both troublesome and legal troubles still prevalent in her life. However, a change in identity did not largely change her personality, and she would continue to engage with life with a predictable attitude, for she still was the same person, behind a different name.
Yep. Same person behind a different name. And that's true. And I we'll get into it when it happens. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for donating. Thank you for helping me. Check out Gino Samuel. Go subscribe to him. Tell him I sent you. I remember the one time I hopped into his live stream one time. He recognized I was there. Not me personally, but the name. Drunken Peasants and shit. So, yes. Have a good one. I'll see you guys later. All right? Follow the redirect over to my other channel. Put that shit on in the background while you do whatever. It helps me a lot if you watch this other channel. So thank you.